Coming up on 5 Minute News. A weekend of pro-Trump rallies as the president stages a coup. COVID-19 vaccine shipments begin in historic US effort. And as leaders set fresh climate goals, Biden pledges US support. It's Monday, December 14. I'm Anthony Davis. Vandals tore down a Black Lives Matter banner and sign from two historic black churches in downtown Washington and set the banner ablaze as nighttime clashes on Saturday between pro-Donald Trump supporters and counter-demonstrators erupted into violence and arrests. Police on Sunday said they were investigating the incidents at the Asbury United Methodist Church and Metropolitan AME Church as potential hate crimes, which one religious leader likened to a cross burning. The incidents came following weekend rallies in support of Trump's baseless claims that he won a second term, which led to dozens of arrests, several stabbings and injuries to police officers. Saturday's rallies drew a larger contingent of the Proud Boys, a neo-fascist group known to incite street violence. The group saw its profile raised after Donald Trump in September famously told them to stand back and stand by. After the rallies ended, downtown Washington quickly devolved into crowds of hundreds of Proud Boys and combined forces of Antifa and local black activists, both sides seeking a confrontation in an area flooded with police. Scholar, author and survivor Umair Haque, who's been covering the fall of US democracy in a series of essays, believes Trump's coup has been largely successful. When a head of state literally demands that election results be overturned, when one state joins him in a lawsuit to overturn election results in other states, when 17 Republican attorneys general back the idea of overturning election results, all that has a very simple term in political science: a judicial coup, he wrote. It should be called exactly what it is, so that the ramifications can be clearly understood. To call it anything else is to minimize and deny the reality of what America faces, Umair said. Trump's coup appears to have failed, and yet it has succeeded in key ways. White America is now a social group of martyrs for a certain super-destructive set of causes: authoritarianism, fascism, the annihilation of democracy. They are willing to destroy themselves to build a very different kind of society, an authoritarian, fascist, theocratic state that resembles Russia by way of Iran much more than a civilized country like, say, Canada, France, or Germany. Mainstream thought seems to have little to no understanding that Trump has built something like a white nationalist movement, an American fascist politics, that is now operating in plain sight. The first of many freezer-packed COVID-19 vaccine vials made their way to distribution sites across the United States on Sunday as the nation's pandemic deaths approached a horrifying new milestone of 300,000. The rollout of the Pfizer vaccine, the first to be approved by the FDA, ushers in the biggest vaccination effort in US history, one that health officials hope the American public will embrace, even as some have voiced initial skepticism or worry. The first of 2 shots are expected to be given in the coming week to healthcare workers and nursing home residents. Quick transport is key for the vaccine, especially since this one must be stored at extremely low temperatures, about 94 degrees below zero. In California, where healthcare workers will be among the first to be vaccinated, healthcare officials are prioritizing hospitals that have adequate storage capacity, serve high-risk populations, and have the ability to vaccinate people quickly. Enough vaccine is being saved so that each person who gets the first dose of vaccine can get a second shot a few weeks later. The Moderna vaccine will be reviewed by an expert panel next week and soon afterward could be allowed for public use. Meanwhile, White House staff members who work in close quarters with the president have been told they are scheduled to receive injections of the coronavirus vaccine themselves at a time when the first doses of the vaccine are being distributed only to high-risk healthcare workers. It's not clear how many doses are being allocated to the White House or how many are needed. While many Trump officials said they were eager to receive the vaccine and would take it if they were offered, others said they were concerned it would send the wrong message by making it look like Trump staff members were hopping the line in order to protect a president who already had the virus and has bragged that he is now immune. US President-elect Joe Biden pledged on the weekend to rejoin the Paris Climate Accord on the first day of his presidency, as world leaders staged a virtual gathering to celebrate the 5th anniversary of the international pact aimed at curbing global warming. Heads of state and government from over 70 countries took part in the event, hosted by Britain, France, Italy, Chile, and the United Nations, to announce greater efforts in cutting the greenhouse gas emissions that fuel global warming. The outgoing administration of Donald Trump, who pulled Washington out of the Paris Accord, wasn't represented at the online gathering. But in a written statement sent shortly before it began, Joe Biden made clear the US was waiting on the sidelines to join again, and noted that Washington was key to negotiating the 2015 agreement, which has since been ratified by almost all countries around the world. But wildfires in the Amazon, Australia and America, floods in Bangladesh and East Africa, and record temperatures in the Arctic have highlighted the impact an increase of 1.2 degrees Celsius is already having on the planet. An agreement on Friday by European Union members to beef up the continent's 2030 targets from 40% to at least 55% compared with 1990 levels was broadly welcomed, though activists said it could have aimed even higher. You can subscribe to 5-Minute News on YouTube with your preferred podcast app. Ask your smart speaker or enable 5-Minute News as your Amazon Alexa flash briefing skill. Subscribe, rate and review online at 5minute.news. 5-Minute News is an Evergreen Podcast covering politics, inequality, health and climate, delivering independent, unbiased and essential world news daily.